Greetings! In today's video, I'll be taking a look at these paints. Now, what's in this? As the tin says, these are Rosa Gallery paints. I was able to fit 12 full pans in this beautiful little palette. These are colors that I picked myself. They don't come from a specific set. And as you can see, I've painted with these before, but I've never really gotten to making a review of these paints, and I felt that this might be a good time to do so. Now, what's really interesting of these paints, there's a few elements. First of all, they are a professional range of watercolor paints available in full pans, so that's always a good start. They are similar in texture to White Nights, if you remember. They have that sort of soft stickiness to them. Now I am gonna risk it, and I'm gonna put my finger in a paint and we'll see. It is very sticky. So they are on the softer side of paints. So that's why I don't really want to pry one out, because in this specific tray where you have room for 3 rows, they're quite snugly fit together, so it would be impossible to take a pan out without putting my fingers in even more paint. They're made in Ukraine. So as you can probably figure out, some people decided to give these a try rather than going for Russian paints when the conflict between Russia and Ukraine started. So they became a bit more prominent and visible at that time, as many people were looking for an alternative in terms of affordable professional paints, but also at the same time paints that would not support a Russian business. I'm not gonna get into politics, I'm just retelling what happened, why Rosa Gallery paints are much more present in stores now. I purchased mine from a small local shop, and I'll have the link in the description to those. I'll have a couple of other links of where you can find these if you want to take a closer look at all the colors they have available. There's a really interesting range there. So I have my swatch card here for reference. I wrote the pigments on the back, but we'll look at the swatches in my sketchbook instead, because on these I have all the info together. This is the swatches. I also did a small color wheel using the golden yellow as my main yellow, the madder rose as my main magenta, and Indian throne blue as my main blue. I also did this little quick mix at the bottom where I switched out the Indian throne blue for cobalt turquoise, just to have a really quick reference. But yeah, so the colors I picked warm gray, because I was really interested in this mix. It is PR254, a red pigment, PBK7, a black pigment, and some white. Then we have Caput Mortuum, which is a color that I always find really useful. It's a beautiful, dark, muted red-purple made from PR101. Then we have Umber, a PBR7 pigment, Chromium Oxide, a PG17 pigment, Indian Throne Blue, PB60, Black Green, which is a mix of PB15, PBK7, and PG7. So a blue, a black, and a green together. Then I have Yellow Ochre, which is a mix of PY43 and PY42. Olive Green, a mix of PG17, PY1, and PBK7. Their Madder Rose, which I thought was a really bright, beautiful magenta color. It is PV19 and PR254. The Aurelian Green, which to me was a really interesting hue. You don't see all that much, but it's a mix of PY150, Nicolazo Yellow, and PG7, Phthalo Green Blue shade. The Cobalt Turquoise is a single pigment, PB28. And finally, Golden Yellow is a PY110. Incidentally, this is one of my favorite orange-yellow pigment. That's the color selection I ended up with. Again, I went with either colors that I thought were unique and I wanted to try them out, or colors that are some of my personal favorites, including the Cobalt Turquoise, the Madder Rose, Chromium Oxide, and the Golden Yellow. That's for personal favorites. And then I went with other colors that I really like and some colors that really intrigued me, like the Aurelian. I did a couple of quick sketches again. I really like how this one turned out. So for that one, I mixed a lot of the pink with the cobalt turquoise to get this texture, and I really like this kind of, split color. This one didn't quite turn out how I wanted, but still I really like the kind of greens I was able to mix. They're really, deep and warm and vibrant colors. And then for this one I had a lot of fun painting just the sky and the little scenes. It's just, these are just quick drawings to play with the paints, and I really enjoyed working with these paints. Now, like I said, we wet really easily, what with being so soft. And also they mixed really well. I was able to get some really fun things going on with the mixes and the texture, and I feel like these are really bright and like glowing. They didn't get dull, they didn't get like flat when I piled on the colors or mixed them extensively. I feel like they kept a lot of their vibrancy, and it made for a really interesting, you know, set of mixes and colors. I would definitely encourage you to check them out if they're available to you in your area or something, and to just not skip them over. There's some really interesting things in there, beautiful colors, and the price again is also really, really good. So they are definitely something to keep in mind to add to your palette. Please tell me what you think of these colors and if you've tried the Rosa Gallery watercolors before. Thank you so much for watching this video. I will see you in the next one, and in the meantime, bye bye.